President Obama is hosting state governors at the White House on Monday. Democratic and Republican governors and their wives joined President Obama and the First Lady for dinner late last week. Among the crowd stood 2016 presidential hopefuls. White House officials sent an email Sunday afternoon outlining actions Obama plans to take this week on manufacturing and infrastructure. Obama says he hopes to make real progress on issues that matter most to Americans. President Obama will propose a 1% pay raise for federal employees and military members for the 2015 fiscal budget. The pay raise is consistent with the pay hikes civilians and troops received last year. This announcement will be made next week. Additionally, White House officials announced that President Obama will not propose a controversial cut to federal retirement benefits as part of his budget plan. The online market for small businesses is not attracting many companies. The online marketplace was supposed to offer small businesses cheaper insurance options for their employees. Alexandra Petrowski of the Small Business Administration said the healthcare exchanges should be a leg up for small businesses trying to compete.
The idea of the Affordable Care Act is to help the uninsured and small businesses provide health insurance. Before the Affordable Care Act came in, one of the biggest complaints that small businesses have been having is the fact that they can't go ahead and play with the big boys in providing health insurance because it's just too expensive, because their risk pool is smaller.
Employers can apply for coverage through the Small Business Exchange at any time during the year.
The longest-serving member of Congress, John Dingell, will leave office at the end of this year. The 87-year-old Michigan Democrat has been in office for almost 60 years. He says his decision was a result of the increased partisanship in Congress. Dingell leaves marks on many laws, including health care, Clean Air, and Clean Water Acts. The Supreme Court today will hear arguments about the Environmental Protection Agency's greenhouse gases regulations for the polluting facilities. The argument is focusing on a requirement by the agency that many companies need to get permits anytime they have new factories that will produce a lot of greenhouse gases. The court will decide whether the agency passes legislative power when the agency's officials wrote new rules regulating the greenhouse gases. A report by the Congressional Budget Office is fueling debate about President Obama's push to raise the federal minimum wage. Tuesday's report says that raising the minimum wage to $10.10 would lift almost 1 million workers out of poverty, but cost the country 500,000 jobs. Supporters say the federal government should follow the district's example.
The District of Columbia led the way, or is one of many states. 21 states plus the district have raised the minimum wage well beyond the federal minimum. And now the federal government has got to catch up.
The district voted to raise its minimum wage last month. It will go up to each year starting in July until raising $11.50 in 2016.
During the past 2 weeks, the average cost of gas nationwide has risen 12 cents to around $3.41 a gallon, according to a survey released by Time magazine on Sunday. The increase in gas prices are believed to be partially due to the unrest in Venezuela and Sudan. Experts believe more increases in gas prices should be expected. The National Pro-Gay Marriage Group, Freedom to Marry, will announce a new $1 million TV campaign in Atlanta. The campaign will highlight politicians and community leaders who back same-sex marriage. The group hopes to kick off in southern states, will help grow public support, and the support will influence the judge's decision on lawsuits that challenge bans on gay marriage.
One of the biggest stories from the Sochi Olympics wasn't about sports, but stray dogs. The Russian strays made headlines as American athletes vowed to adopt them. U.S. hockey player David Baggs started an organization to help animals find homes in the U.S. Stray animals are not only a problem in Russia. In America, there are millions of animals that also need homes. Tina Lee has more on efforts in D.C. to find dogs forever homes.
U.S. Olympians want to do their part to help with Sochi's stray dog population. Athletes plan to adopt 1,000 homeless dogs in Sochi. Russia is not the only country with stray pets. America also has homeless dogs that need to be rescued. According to the Humane Society, around 153 million pets in the U.S. don't have homes. Only a third make it to a shelter.
A lot of times these dogs are coming from high kill shelters, and if there wasn't a network of people to help foster them while they're in DC, then there'd probably be a lot more of them would have to be put down.
Zombrowski says pets in shelters have a high risk of euthanasia due to overpopulation.
We spay and neuter all of them. It's just our policy to kind of prevent more, unfortunately, unwanted dogs.
Zandy says spaying and neutering animals helps lower the number of strays.
Our home, often enough, or have a dog walker and have either a backyard for the dogs to run around in or have dog parks nearby. I mean, we have people who have just a small condo and the dogs are very happy there, just as long as you can get them out and exercise them and kind of interact with other dogs. That's really the only requirement.
Those wanting to adopt a pet from a DC shelter can find out more information at the Washington Metro Mall's website. For District Wire News, I'm Tina Lee.
Uganda's president signed an anti-gay bill today. The bill implements harsh penalties for homosexual sex. Uganda's president said the bill is needed because Western groups are trying to promote the homosexuality in Africa. The new law calls for first-time offenders to spend 14 years in jail.
The Ukrainian government is looking for President Viktor Yanukovych. The acting government issued a warrant for Yanukovych's arrest. The warrant is for the mass killing of civilians. The oust president fled the capital after signing an agreement with the opposition Friday. He tried to fly out of the country but was stopped after Yanukovych released his security detail and drove to an unknown location. Egypt's government resigned today in a surprise move. The prime minister announced his cabinet's resignation this morning on a TEV broadcast. The military-backed government was sworn in this past July after President Mohamed Morsi was ousted. The government resigned in the midst of multiple strikes, including one by public transportation workers and garbage collectors. It is not clear whether the prime minister plans to stay with the new government or step aside for the new prime minister.
A domestic violence crisis center is hoping to help women before it's too late. More after the break.